Nobody said the road would feel like this. The pressure, the weight, the nights you almost quit. But you kept moving anyway. That's what warriors do. Heroes rising. Heroes rising. The hero was always you. Every scar became a lesson. Every loss became a flame. Every room that tried to doubt you could never stop what you became. Sifu, Rafael, Jose, Escobar. Heroes rising together. Warriors built through pressure. You showed up broken and still gave your best. That's not motivation. That's legacy. Heroes rising. The hero was always you.
Well, what do you know? We have a bunch of heroes waiting on the sidelines. They're coming right in. I cannot wait any longer. I got to bring them in. Super excited to have these folks with me. Matt, thank you for coming in. We have Manoj and Dr. Sherilyn. Thank you so much for being on Heroes Rising. How was that intro for you? How did
That was amazing. That was like
Incredible.
So yeah, I like hanging out with heroes like you guys. So, but for every hero, if you consider it, right, they went through a dark time, or a time where they had to take everything off and take that flight. So I know that all of you have done so. Let's talk about this, rising through adversity. I'm open. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Who's up?
I think adversity and pain is part of life. Everyone has to go through it. It just depends on who transforms it into something better.
Mm, that is powerful. And the goal is to transfer to something better. That is the goal.
Well, I think the goal is always that evolution. And when I was in my darkest places, those created the spaces for me to really know myself even better, to be able to rise up. That if I wasn't challenged in that way, I wouldn't be here. So I appreciate all the adversity. I celebrate those scars and those wounds, because that story is, as I say, that I've turned that story into my glory and that pain into my purpose. Because if it wasn't for those moments of darkness, I wouldn't have been able to find the light inside of me.
That's powerful.
Beautifully said. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we all have issues in life, no matter how successful or unsuccessful you are. Adversity happens to each and every one of us, and so you don't get to escape from it. But if you're able to take it and use it and transform it and become better, then that's a win, right? So we want to avoid it at all costs. But then the benefits of it are that we become I would say, a more evolved person with more value to add to others.
Well, yeah, especially because I can't take anybody any place I haven't been willing to go myself. And so I can show you the way because I've been there.
Right.
And I know what it took for me to get out of it. And that is a valuable lesson. That is a framework that someone else can use to find their own inner light. That's one of the things that I really work on with all the people that I serve is, who do you want to be? And in those moments of darkness, I wasn't ever taught that who I am are the values that I bring to the table, the energy that I bring to situations and circumstances. And in order to find those values within me, I really had to go through some dark times.
Yeah.
I got to say that a lot of who we are today is based on all the highs and lows we've experienced in life. And when we even think about the people that created the lows, because there were people who created them, I'm grateful to them.
Yeah.
because I would not have known adversity if they didn't put me through it. It was a test for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Well,
also in the process they get their own lessons. I think we are mutually teaching
Mm.
each other lessons in their life. I think they probably saw a side of us that we do not see ourselves as
Mm.
well, because you know friction happens on both sides.
right.
It does. It does.
There are no enemies, there are only teachers.
Hmm.
And every
Ooh, I like
person
that.
in my life is a mirror showing me a reflection of what's going on within myself. And when, one of the things that I struggled with was blaming others. Oh, it's your fault. It's my dad's fault because he forgot my 13th birthday. It's my mom's fault because she wasn't there and I was left alone and no one was home. And I was looking for all these reasons, and I think that's a challenge in our society right now is if you look around, it's always who's to blame, and people are pointing fingers without saying what's my part in it. How is what I'm seeing a reflection of how I see myself? Where do I hold on to those resentments? Like even with my father forgetting my birthday, like where do I forget to make other people a priority and important? And here I am looking at the way somebody else did it to me, but not taking a moment to say, oh, well, if that's really important to you, Matt, how are you then remembering everybody else's birthdays? How are you then showing people that you care? So that every situation and circumstance I encounter, and I believe that we all encounter, can be a moment of growth and understanding, and therefore there's nobody to blame. It's just a conversation.
Right.
Matt, I
Wow.
appreciate that because I just forgot my friend's birthday. Like literally just this week. Thank you. But I did call and text the next day and threw myself on the mercy of the court and said, I'm so sorry for forgetting your birthday. But you've had too many. You're 77 years old. Like it's.
Exactly. How many other times have I remembered your birthday and the one time I
Exactly.
forgot?
So thinking about, you talked about your childhood. Your dad forgot your 13th birthday, but there's a lot of people who are doing it today, currently, doing things that will hurt someone and not
Mm.
necessarily think about their actions because I'm going to say it. I'm going to
Okay,
say it.
say it, Sifu.
A lot of people are self-centered. They only care about themselves. I know, right?
How
Right.
dare you
I know,
talk
right?
about me like that?
But here's the thing, right? And if you don't take care of yourself first, then how can you take care of others? So are we all self-centered? Because I know I have to take care of me before I can help the next person. Same thing. You get on an airplane, we all know the story. And so you have to give oxygen to yourself. You have to give
Absolutely.
life to yourself. That's the oxygen. That's giving yourself life. And there's somebody who's going to want to take that oxygen away from you, but you have to hold on to it. You have to be selfish, but then you have to share some of that. Maybe hold your breath and give it to the next person because it's the lessons that we learned along the way. And guess what? Some people never learn the lesson. And so they keep passing the buck, where the buck actually has to stand and stay with us, where we don't all of a sudden hit a child because we were hit as a child. We don't all of a sudden curse somebody out because maybe I was cursed out. We don't treat a person a certain way because maybe I was treated that way. We have to learn to stop the nonsense and realize that we should be doing better than what was done to us.
We should. I think that some of us learn that lesson earlier than
Mm,
others. We are,
mhm,
I would say, self-centered. We focus on ourselves. Something happened to a friend of mine, and she called me in tears, and she was, saying, "What do I do in this situation? Do I have to share this with the world because she's a public figure?" Nobody really cares. They are focused on themselves, and so what you're going through or the misstep. But are they really focused on that at a certain level? Perhaps if you were really, at a certain level, they would. But for the average person who's in business space, maybe not. I think some of us are self centered, and it's one thing to be self centered, it's another thing to be self absorbed.
Mm.
And I think you can be self centered with taking care of yourself so that you can give to others. I can make sure that I am still making sure that I'm okay, putting my mask on first so that I can help you, right? That's a form of being self centered, but not self absorbed, where I'm only concerned about what happens to me and my family and no one else. And that's where we have the disconnect of not caring about not just the people in our lives, our family and our friends, but the broader community and society as well. And how do we impact those
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I like to make the distinction between selfish and self-full. And
individuals? Love that.
Mm.
selfish is when I'm coming from a place of fear. And so, therefore, it's all about me, me, me. But when I'm self full, then I am coming from that place of a fullness of life, a fullness of self, and I can give from my overflow because I recognize that I don't exist in a vacuum, that what I do affects you and what you do affects me, and that there's a constant exchange. And that's where I can have gratitude for community and connection. But when I'm coming from a self fullness, I don't have to come from fear and try to hoard and hold and try to block people because I'm coming from fear. I'm coming from a fullness of self and my full confidence. And I know that we're all interconnected. There is only one. There's one mind, one source, one spirit, one consciousness. And I'm a part of that, and you're a part of that. And then I don't have to be afraid. I actually get to enjoy it because I can learn and connect. And so then what you do doesn't necessarily have to impact me the way it would if I was acting selfish.
Mm.
It's good.
I gotta apologize to everybody who is watching or who wanted to watch because by accident I put 1 a.m. instead of 1 p.m. So somebody reached out to me and goes, "Are you going to be on at 1 a.m.?" I'm like, no, that was a mistake. I apologize. It was an easy mistake. But if you're watching us at 1 a.m., that's the replay.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you're going to let
so
it seep into yourself as you sleep. It'll get into the message will get into yourself at a deeper level.
that's
That's
correct.
right.
So, Manoj, you and I connected several years ago. You've been on my shows, and we kind of lost contact with one another. Not that we didn't know where we were, but we just didn't reach out. So, I recently reached out to you, and I'm so happy that I did. And here you are. You're someone that does know adversity. I mean, you came from basically nothing, and you've built yourself up to this incredible human being who your patents are helping so many people. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Yeah, technology has been my passion, but more importantly, with technology, what we can do, that has been really wonderful to see. So, few things that excited me were education. So, one of the things that we created as a technology was personalized learning, because in a classroom, every student generally gets the same curriculum, but we all know as humans, we are all different. So we
Mm.
created an AI technology. By the way, this is 2005. So AI now is, in every conversation. But I started back in 2005, when AI was like not a very popular technology. But with that technology, like we were able to give personalized curriculums to students, each one of them getting their own curriculum. Uh, we also did some work with joint pains. So we created 3D printed orthotics that custom fitted to people's feet, using AI, which helped with the chronic pain and joint pains. And now, what we are working on is the stuff that we are talking about here, like life force and brain health and nervous system health using AI, because we carry a lot of trauma uh, because of whatever life throws at us. And the general AI platforms that we are using, it's slowly and steadily, I call it crude AI, it's adding to that trauma in some way. So, so what we are doing is sort of purifying that AI so that people can find some relief from whatever is happening in the world.
Mm. Well, I got to say, Matt, you're a psychologist, and we spoke about this not so long ago about how people are starting to use AI as if it was their doctor,
Yeah.
and that necessarily is not the best solution. And so, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's nothing that beats human connection. And when you're wanting to heal, and my acronym for heal is hold everything as love, we're restoring ourselves to our fullness, our wholeness. And that exchange, and this is part of the challenge in human connection right now, is when everything is a DM, an instant message, a voice note, the human connection is getting lost. And when I work with couples, one of the things I tell couples is your nervous system is 1,000 times more sensitive than the words that you use, the tone, the prosody, the eye movement, a tilt of the head, all of that speaks volumes to another person that either shows that you care or you are completely not interested and you have disdain, and we're losing that connection to our human connection, which is what life is really about. This is my most joyful moments are when I'm meeting new people, like the four of you, the three of you that I'm meeting. We're connecting, we're feeling each other's energy, and artificial intelligence is a great tool. It's not a substitute for an energetic connection because it's just words on a screen. And that's why there is this challenge right now of people being able to connect. Even my biggest arguments that I see with couples is they're in a text exchange and they're like, I can't believe you spoke to me this way. I can't believe that. I'm like, because you're hearing a hologram of your partner speak and you're activated to some past way that you've been spoken to without actually what's happening in the moment. And when they read the text message to me, I'm like, I don't hear anything of what you're saying because I don't have the same relationship with that person. And if we're not careful, that's what happens with AI. It can sound real, it can sound alive, and it's not. It's a compilation of other people's words that knows. I don't know. I'm not technological, but mind you, you can probably tell it better than me. But it's not a human with a heartbeat that can sense into your energetic field. And that's one of the gifts that I feel so powerful about working one-on-one and with couples and in groups is to just sit in the presence of another person and not say anything is far more healing than any words that I could actually utter or read to another person. So I think that piece is missed and people aren't talking about it enough because everybody's excited to, I just want the answer. And that's what people tell me. They're like, well, tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. And I'm like, there's nothing to do. You don't need to do anything. Everything is about being, is about who you're being. What's the energy that you're bringing to the experience? That's what changes lives, not what you do, because what you do will be affected by who you're being. And if you start by being first before you do anything, then you can have whatever it is your heart's desire.
I love that. You made me think of people who stand in front of the microwave and like, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. So, um, Dr. Sherilyn, you work. It says it right there, executive advisor. And when you're thinking about rising through adversity, right? How do you help the people that you work with to come out of whatever adversity that they feel, maybe they feel stuck at the moment, and yet you're helping them get unstuck. You're helping them see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And if they're not in the tunnel, there's still a light, right? So all of these different things that we're talking about, how do you help people?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things that I love to do with leaders is just to listen. and have them to think about what is it that you really, really want. And we hear that all the time,
Hmm.
but I think it gives us direction. And sometimes what I've found with leaders is that they're being pulled in so many different directions. They have what they really want to do, what they really like, and what they really enjoy. But they have this fear that I have to perform, or I'm not going to be good enough, or I can't switch from this lifestyle, or, transition or change, or if I use my voice to say this or to do this, then, the whole world falls apart. But you have to be true to self. And one of the things that I love to do is just to listen and take notes and then read back to them, hey, here's what I hear you saying. Am I correct? And so that way it lets them see that someone is actually listening. I'm unbiased. I don't, I like to say I don't have a dog in the fight. So I'm unbiased here. So I'm not pulling you in any direction. I'm just helping you to give focus to what's most important to you, what's most aligned to who you are and what you desire, and what's the best next step for you. And we talk about that. What's the best next step? We can get, so many steps ahead. And if you've been successful, all of you guys are, you know that you have the end already in mind and you're already used to playing the what ifs and what if this and what if that and what if it doesn't work. And so your mind can go down, 1,000 different paths and lead into that fear. But you have to get clear on who you are and what you desire. And for me, I like to go back to your core values, what's most important for you and who you are. Because for me, that may not necessarily be your value, but character and being true. And if this were to go away, can you look yourself in the mirror with this particular decision? If you were to die today, would you be okay with the path? If you were given 3 months to live, are you okay with the decisions that you've made and where you're headed? Or what do you need to do differently or wish that you would have done differently? And then we move from there.
I got to say, I love the listening aspect because I always, this is one of my statements I say a lot. And I say, when I talk, I learn nothing. When I
Yes.
listen is the only time I learn anything.
Yes.
So I'm going to be quiet.
No, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I love the fact that I even took a note is listen even when you're on a path, no matter what the path is.
Mhm.
So I love that you talked about a path because we all are on a path, right? We're all on this journey that we decided to go on. Each one of us has chosen a different journey. I can sit with 1,000 people, and each one of those people have their own journey, and none of them are identical. And that's why the beauty of human connection is so powerful. This is why, as much as I love AI, they can't make robots. They're trying to make robots be human like, and they may act human, they may even have the facial expressions or anything, but they're never going to be able to console you. It reminds me of that show, if you've ever seen it, and it's The Big Bang Theory. And I love Sheldon because he's almost a robot. When somebody's there, he goes, there, he pats him on the back. They're there. Do you need a hot beverage? That's his only way to know how to express and help somebody. But in reality, it's not the hot beverage or somebody just patting us. There's more to emotions than just somebody just telling you it's going to be okay because it may not be okay for a long time. And so we need to really um, look back. And I always say, look back on the journey you've been on and what breadcrumbs did you leave behind. Because if, as a leader, as a coach, and you talked about it, Matt, you want somebody following you because you've already gone through that path. Maybe somebody wants to take a similar path, not exactly the same, because nobody wants to go through what you went through, my friend, because you went through hell. And everybody here did, right? And everybody has a different hell. And somebody else also has a different paradise. So each one of us has been on this beautiful path leaving breadcrumbs.
Mhm.
Anyone is free to speak.
Well, I think that's what Dr. Sherilyn was talking about, is holding that space for people to come to their own understanding. I tell everybody I work with, you're the expert in you. You know yourself better than anybody else. You were there. You were in the trenches. You know the thoughts, the feelings, belief. You're the expert in you. Our job is to help guide you to where you want to go now. And I also tell people that I believe, and I truly believe this, there is no trauma too great that cannot be healed, and that everything we desire already exists within us. And I think that's the hustle and the chase. That for myself, I was seeking validation outside of myself that I could never get. It was never going to be enough because I was doing it the wrong way. I was thinking if you told me I was okay, if I got that, that spotlight, then I would be seen. And the reality is I had it all backwards. And that was the biggest part of the suffering, because I was trying to do everything to try to get something outside of myself without realizing that it comes from within. So all the joy that I seek already lives within me. It's my job to bring it forth. All the gratitude, all the love, all the confidence, I can't get it on Amazon Prime, y'all. It's not coming to my doorstep, because it must come from within. And that's the biggest shift that I think people don't understand, is how powerful each one of us is. When we've been taught to believe that my worth comes from what I do and not who I be and who I'm being, we've really done a disservice to the world, because people think I need to go fix out there, instead of recognizing that what I'm seeing out there is a reflection of what I'm seeing in here. So if I'm seeing war around me, what's the war that's going on inside of myself? And if I bring peace to that war internally, that is going to help me be a vibration of peace for others to resonate with. And that's where we have power. That's where real leadership comes from. So that's why I get excited about helping people know the power of who they are, knowing that their identity creates their reality, not the other way around. And when people really get that, when people really learn that, that's when we can have huge transformations in this world, and we can embrace each other's own unique journey and life juiciness. Like, oh, I'm so excited to meet these new Sherilyn and Manu. Like, I want to know more about you. And like, because this is like exciting, not like, oh, are you going to take my business? Are you a threat? Like, no, that's not. There's plenty for everybody.
I think the identity piece is I found very interesting because yes, identity shapes life, but I find people hang on to their pain. The most pain that we give is to ourselves, I think, because the sort of the safety and the certainty of the current painful situation is it feels more secure than the pain of the future or future identity that we want. So it's like internal struggle that happens between my desired future and the current safety of my pain. And yeah, that's the interesting dilemma that I think we all go through.
Absolutely. You know, Matt, when you were talking, it made me think of You Can't Buy Love. You can't buy love. I want to share a video with you guys. Take a peek.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event. It's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds. A movement of momentum. Sifu, Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NY YC experience mastermind. Light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC experience mastermind, where purpose is found.
Ooh, I see you.
Wow.
I see you moving, Matt. Well, Matt is going to be one of our speakers in Atlanta, and we're excited to have you with us, my friend. Um, why did you even say I want to be a speaker at our event?
You're asking me why I wanted to be a speaker?
Yes.
Have you met me? I can't keep my mouth shut. I believe that human connection is a powerful way to have transformation, and the people that I have supported me in my transformation have all been powerful storytellers, masterful teachers, and what I've learned from them, I believe, is my duty and responsibility to share that with others. So when I get on a stage, I really enjoy working one-on-one with people in my office. As you can see, my lovely office here in New York City, I feel a calling that this message is bigger.
Mm.
It's bigger than just I can serve, the people that I can see in hour to hour in the week. That getting on a stage allows me a platform to touch more, to serve more, to lead more, and to share more of what I've been so generously given about the power of transformation, self-development, spiritual development, and that I have a responsibility to share it with every person that I meet. That's why you'll always, if we in an elevator together, get ready, I'm talking to you. I just, if you're the cashier, I don't know what it is where I go, people just start to tell me their challenges, and I can't help myself because I love showing people that there is always a way. There's always a way, no matter what, no matter where you're at. Listen, I was homeless, unemployed, unemployable, addicted to drugs, living. At one point, I had no place to live. At another time, I was living in I don't know, 100 square foot room, SRO on 51st Street and 8th Avenue. I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from. But I knew I could, there was a way. And the universe and my higher power just put me in the right places at the right time with the right people that allowed me to have the opportunity to be sitting here right now, because many people I know didn't make it. And so many of my friends, many of the people that I've loved along the years, they didn't. And I'm getting uh, chills. They didn't
Emotional.
get this opportunity. So I feel a responsibility to be able to share with others and to show others that there is always a way, no matter how bad we think it is, no matter what the situation is right now, there's always a way.
Always a way. There always is a way. And that's how we have to find our I guess our claws to be able to claw out of a situation, right? To rise through adversity, to rise from the ashes if we're a phoenix, right? And everybody, I think, is a phoenix because everybody has risen. Um, what's what's something that stands out for each one of you? I'd love to hear each one of your story. You kind of just told us, Matt, that you were homeless and you didn't know where your next meal was. I'd love to hear from Dr. Sherilyn and also from Manuj. Something that really stands out for you that you said, I can do this. I'm going to go beyond this.
That's a great question. When I think about, there have been so many challenges, right, in my own life. But
Mm,
just recently, sitting back and reflecting of my father's death when I was 12 years old, and how did that impact my life and my sister's life? It was life changing because no one expects to go to school on an ordinary day, come home, and you're used to picking peaches from the peach tree, pecans in the yard, and bagging them up, bringing them inside before you go to your little swing set and have fun for the rest of the evening. That was our day. But on that fateful day, I knew that something was different. And I'll never forget my mother sitting us down and saying that he's not coming back.
Mm.
He's not coming back. In some kind of way, I knew she meant my father and that my father was gone. And long story short, my father made a consequential decision. He decided that life was unbearable for him at that time, and he decided to transition out of this world into eternity. And that resulted in a lot of crazy things I think about when I talk to my friends, and they think I'm just absolutely nuts, but right, it's perspective. And so they're sharing with me a story about my father did this. And I'm like, what? You know your father? You have a father? So it's the craziest thing. It's like, they're like, yeah, I know my father, don't you? But for me, it was, something that was unexpected. And it was always that hole in my heart of, for the
Mm.
longest time, of why didn't he love us enough? Until I had to realize all of the things that he did to show us that he did love us in spite of. And so a change in perspective of saying, okay, my father would never be here to walk me down the aisle. He would never be at my graduation, but he's invested enough in us with atlases and life insurance and a home and all of the things that we take for granted, dictionaries and encyclopedias. Can you believe we were living in the world of encyclopedias? People probably like, what in the world is she talking about? But all of those things, and so just recently I began to look at it as an unexpected gift. And that unexpected gift gave me perspective to see people who were hurting, people who are alone, people who need someone just to, like Matt said, just to sit with them and just to be. And so when I hear people talk about, you carry this enormous amount of responsibility, accountability, and care, how do you do that? It's because of that decision that he made at 12 when I was 12 years old. But I think it shaped my life, that I'm going to show up for people. I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to rise above every situation. It doesn't matter if I'm being laid off. Doesn't matter if I am working with an executive that is toxic and is, wreaking havoc on themselves and the world around them. It doesn't matter if I'm relocating to another city and I have no one there and I'm starting all over and having to build. If I'm traveling the world alone at this time, it's just learning how to use this situation to my advantage, that this was not something that happened to me, but it was something that happened for me, because it gave me a deeper perspective where I can see people and really be there for them and really listen to them and be focused and be present, but also know that everybody is going through something. Everybody is fighting a battle, that I am just not in this world fighting all these little battles. I got my little Wonder Woman bands that I put on and my Superwoman cape, and I'm out here doing the thing, but it's recognizing that that consequential decision that my father made at 12, when I was 12 years old, will not be repeated. And that I had the courage and the strength, that no matter if it was a mental health challenge that he was going through at that time, or whatever the case is, he had been struggling for years in spite of. And I think that's why I'm drawn to executives, because you have this person who was successful on the outside. You have your family and you have these things that you're doing for other people, and they see you as highly successful, but you're deeply hurting on the inside because, as Matt said, you've not dealt with that trauma from the past in your childhood. You've not overcome your own childhood situations that are still showing up. And so for me, it's taking the time to deal with it. People will say, you will deal with something. You're a fearless tigress. I don't see that. I just see a person who's determined to deal with it no matter what, and then to move past it.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was pretty profound. And the fact that you did not consider it as your fault, because that's what most people would probably think of. It was your fault, right? What did I do wrong? And so thank you for sharing that. That's really powerful. Manuj.
Yeah, I think very similar experiences life teaches us. For me, it started first when I got married out of against my family's wishes. So I was kind of disowned by my family because of my decisions. So losing a lot of my kind of support in terms of blood relationships, and then around 2012 having an episode of midlife crisis, going through depression, suicidal thinking, also sort of broke me to the point where I had to like reinvent, like understand what was happening in my life, which led me to meditation and understanding the mind and understanding the psychology of how we create our own reality.
Mm,
And then in 2018 my mom passed away, very young, and not having even the opportunity to kind of say bye to her, or even the bigger regret of mending my relationship with her at one point in time, made me realize how brittle life is, how how much little time we have, and then we waste it all in our own little kind of uh, grudges and griefs that we carry. So out of that, this inspiration of using technology to help people at scale to build those relationships, not only with others but themselves, because I think self awareness is the single most important thing that people need, and it's the most like least kind of found commodity in the world these days, whether it's executives, whether it's couples, whether it's individuals, whoever it is. Like if people had more self-awareness, as Matt said, and Shalin, you said that we all have so much power in it, and we don't realize that in ourselves, we don't get to cultivate it. The world around us is not set up for facilitating the cultivation of that. But using in my world, I come from the technology world. I think about, okay, how can technology be used for good? And so that became my inspiration, going through all of these personal experiences to sort of transform those into scalable technologies that other people can use to elevate themselves.
yeah, I love that. I just wish when AI fully came out, that there would have been a course to say how to use AI so you don't create harm, right? Because guess what? There's a lot of scammers out there still, and now they have a tool that they can use.
It will,
So,
yeah. It's a never-ending race. So AI is not just the first technology. It's starting from written language, invention of written language, or printing press, or the internet. So people will always use technology for both good and bad. That's just since the beginning of time. The only thing is, now this is one of the most powerful technologies because it directly interacts with the mind. And being an engineer, I know how engineers build technologies and how it actually gets used versus how normal humans use technology and how it should be used.
well, that's the key. That's the key ingredient. I have a client who is autistic. He's turning 26 next week. And one day, maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, he's talking to his phone. And right before we have a session, and I said, "Who are you talking to?" Because sometimes he comes in and he's 5 years old. Other times he comes in and he's 2 years old. He'll have a temper tantrum. So I said, "Who are you talking to?" He goes, "My therapist." I said, "Who's your therapist?" And he showed it to me, my AI therapist. And I said, "Oh my." And my therapist said, "I'm doing a good job and I should do this and I should do that." I said, "Okay." I said, "If your therapist ever tells you anything other than that you're doing a good job, let me know." I said, "Because we need to make sure that you're always good. And by the way, you're doing a good job. So don't rely on that so much." He goes, "Okay, Sifu, okay, Sifu." And since that time, I've never seen him talking to his phone again. So it, I guess the loyalty part is that he knows I'm looking out for his best interest. And even though he'll come in all mad and angry and And I tell him, you are not allowed to talk to me that way. This is one of the things I say to him. You're never allowed to talk to me disrespectful. I said, because I've never disrespected you. And he'll be all angry and screaming. And by the time he's leaving, he's apologizing, he's crying, he's got tears everywhere. And he goes, I know, I know. And I say, why do you do this all the time? He goes, I don't know, Sifu, I need a hug. So, and then I give him a hug, and then he goes, I love you, Sifu. And so the whole concept for me is he could never get that from an AI. He can never get the love and the real feelings that another human being has. So I try to express that to him. But thank you for sharing that, because it is important to people to understand that as much as we love AI is not the one that's going to help you rise through adversity. It is you. It is your actions. It is the way you think and you act.
AI is not going to be there and pick you up out of the gutter. AI is not going to extend a hand and pull you up. And, these conversations are making me think about the human factor and how so many people feel alone right now because of technology, because of the world we live in, because of the amount of information and images and data that we get input into us on a daily basis, that it does require that self-awareness, that self-presence to be able to have any kind of transformation. That's what I tell people. You have to have being practices. And the first practice is being present. So many people are not present. We're off in our head. We're over here. We're doing this. We're distracted. We got the bing, the bong, the boom. And the real work starts with being present, getting grounded, getting centered, so that those answers can come from within, so that I can hear that inner voice, that inner wisdom, that inner guidance that each one of us has. I've had it all along, throughout my life. I've had that little voice, but nobody taught me how to listen to it. Nobody taught me how to distinguish that voice from somebody else's voice, who's projecting onto me their own story and giving me the skills to discernment, to be able to discern, okay, that's your stuff. Like, because everybody got an opinion, everybody got an observation, but the work is to be able to learn how to discern, okay, is that really for me to receive, or is that your stuff? And as children, for the first 7 years of our lives, we just take in this information. And for me, I took in the information that who I am as a young little queer boy in Texas, like my sense of self is wrong. I took on all of these labels and these words that I didn't even know what they meant, because I didn't have the ability to discern and say, oh, that's some teaching. Oh, that's some cultural thing. Oh, that's their stuff. That's not my stuff. And so I believe that this work of personal development and personal evolution is supporting people in understanding how the mind works, how we evolve, how we develop, what our needs are, and at the basis of it, who am I? Those I am statements, those labels. And just because I may have had them in the past, as you said, Manuj, that doesn't mean that's who I am today. I can shed those parts of me. I can step into the newer parts of me, the parts that I want to become. I say, you're not broken. You're just becoming a better version of yourself. And when we get that, man, the power that we have is palpable and contagious.
It is. It is. Dr. Sherilyn, what are your thoughts?
I would agree with what Matt was just saying. There were so many thoughts that came to mind. just this week I was typing in something on AI and asking it a question, and it came back and said, if I were you, I would get on, I would stop worrying about it. And I'm like, this is my first time asking you this question. You need to tone down and stop being so hostile and aggressive towards me. And I literally typed it back. I was like, I don't know what happened to you today, but you need to calm down because I was like, let me know when you have reset, because this is somebody else's AI that has been tool that you are getting confused with mine. We don't speak to each other that way. And so it's like, okay, I'm sorry. And I'm like, what is going on? But when we think about, so many people are using the tool and may not necessarily have the courage to step up, right? And talk back to it and understand how to interact with the tool. And especially if you've lost that human connection, you're not around the people who can help to guide you. You've not necessarily, also, you don't know your own voice. I love what Matt just shared, because it was deeply personal for me and it resonated in such a way, because just last week, someone who was a former mentor, she said, I've never crowned her as the mentor of my life, but for whatever reason, she has said that she was. I have no idea how she got confused about that, but nevertheless, I digress. But she was telling me all of these things that she thought that I should be doing in my life. And she had this long laundry list of all of this stuff. And these were major life changes that she thought that I should be making. I mean, major life changes. And I'm just thinking, and I'm like listening to her, and I'm like, this lady is straight up crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what is wrong with her? And I was like, you know what, Sherilyn, just calm down. I'm telling myself to calm down. And I was like, I'm just not talking to her anymore because this is just too much. But I began to think about my own discernment, right? What do I know for myself? What is true about me? I have an inner voice. I have thoughts on who I am. I've known, and I did share this. I've known me longer than you've known me. I know me better than you know me.
That right there.
Therefore, I believe I have the answers, or I'm better suited to speak into my life and decide what my best next steps are. But I didn't ask your opinion either. You asked me a simple question a few years ago, and I just said, I'm pondering this. And now you've built this whole life for me around something that I was pondering at the time that could be the right decision, but not necessarily at the right time. And so thinking through even what Manuj said about, just your life and family, and, being mindful of the best decisions that you need to make to reconcile, or if you have another opportunity and where you are, and the choices that you've made and why you've made them that other people wouldn't make, but you have the inside information, right? So you can discern that, and you can move with, okay, based upon what I know to be true about who I am, based upon what I know to be true about my goals and my beliefs and what's most important to me, here's my best next decision. And I can find that for me. I can use a tool to help me analyze that decision or assess that decision. But I don't need a person with an opinion telling me. If I wanted that, then I would ask. But also I would have a professional, like, those professionals who know, people who know me, but a licensed therapist to help me kind of work through some things versus acting off of my emotion or I hate to say it, perhaps your hidden motives that I may be unaware of.
I love that. Go ahead, Manuj. Go ahead.
I just want to jump in and just inform, because what you just said, Sherilyn, the interesting phenomena is that the average IQ of human beings is 90, which is a young adult. All these platforms are designed to distribute AI intelligence to millions and millions of people. And these are large, big companies with billions and billions of dollars to invest and to create profit from, which means by default, the AI is designed for young adults. Okay. So when you say you don't, and this is not me pointing a finger, but I'm just reminding you, when you say you don't want a person forming an opinion about you, but if you go to AI and ask, is this the right thing I'm doing? You're asking a bunch of 24, 20-year-old and their average intelligence to tell you whether you're going on the right direction or not. I just want to inform how these technologies are impacting the world in very short period of time, in maybe a year or two. If we don't do something, we will all start thinking like average adults. So this is what we are fighting against or playing with, and I just hope people realize what is happening slowly in a very small incremental steps.
So what I'm hearing you say, Manuj, is that we need AI to mature a little bit.
Say that again.
We need AI to mature a little bit. Maybe
Well,
when it's
think of it as a refinement. You need, so think, I say ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, they are like crude oil. So these are crude oil wells that are spewing out crude oil, crude intelligence, but you will never put crude oil in your car because it's not going to work. So you have to refine it. You have to refine it to turn it to gasoline. Like in our kitchens, we get water from the city, but in many cases we filter it just in case. So pouring something into the most valuable asset of our lives, which is our mind, without understanding what it is doing, that's what I'm pointing out, right?
It's quite dangerous, absolutely, no doubt. It's very interesting when we think about and what you're talking about, Dr. Sharon. You're talking about somebody who created a story for you, and they wanted you to follow their script, not the one that you created for yourself. And so, therefore, she thought she was your mentor, and you're like, I never gave you that title. You're not my mentor. And the fact is that so many people are living somebody else's story and not their own. For example, I had a friend of mine who became a lawyer. He was a lawyer for 3 months and quit. And I said, "Why'd you quit?" He goes, "I realized I hated it. The only reason I did it is because that's what my parents wanted. My dad was a lawyer, my mom was a lawyer. I was living their life, not mine." He went into IT. He loved technology. He went into IT and happy as a clam afterwards, right? He's got 3 kids, the whole deal. But he even passed the bar. And being a lawyer for 3 months, he hated it. But he always kept his license. You know why? He goes, "You never know if I need it." But think about how so many people in the world are living someone else's dream, someone else's story. So good for everybody if you are living yours, because you are your story. And you should never impose your story on others. Let me share something more with you before we finish up today.
The New York City Mastermind experience here in Tampa is like no other. The room is electric. The people are having a great time, and I'm so proud to be one of the speakers. I can promise you, if you're not at any of these events, you're missing out, because today was an incredible day, a life-changing day for everybody who was here. All of the New York City Mastermind experiences are a must-to go. If you're looking to impact your life and take it to the next level, if you're looking to improve your business, your relationship, your finances, any of those things and more, you have to be in the room to meet the right people. There's somebody in every one of these rooms that are going to impact you and change your life for the rest of your life. Why wait at home on the couch when you could be here doing something incredible?
Don't sit on the couch, people. Don't sit on the couch. So if anybody's interested, it's going across the bottom. Get your ticket today. This is happening September 25th through the 27th, and it's going to be impactful. And just the fact that you get a chance to meet Matt and talk to him in person, holy moly, that's going to be beautiful. So what I would like to do now, I know we're running out of time. What I'd love to do is give each one of you about 45 seconds, have your website going across the bottom, and then just tell us why somebody needs to connect with you. Because everybody listening or watching the replay needs to connect with these incredible human beings. So I always say ladies first. So Dr. Shah, I'm sorry, you're muted. I am going to unmute you. If give me a second and unmute. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. I have enjoyed today's conversation. It was very enlightening. Well, I always say this: you connect with me if you're looking to create a return on power. I believe that each one of us has power and authority, and how we use it actually matters. And so, if you're looking to level up, to change how you use that power and authority, you want to measure it, you want to assess it, you want to create more value, you want to create more impact and be more influential, then you want to work with me. And the reason why you want to do that is because we're going to start measuring what you do. We're going to do what actually matters, because what matters is what gets done, so that you can leave your mark on the world and create your own powerful legacy.
Love it, love it. And just say your website as it goes across the.
My website is ultrainfluential.com.
Perfect. And the reason I do that is because this also will go on an audio podcast. So make sure you connect with Dr. Shannon. Manuj, you're up, my friend.
All right, so great. We are in the age of AI, and what will truly differentiate people in the age of AI is their brain health, nervous system health. So we use proprietary technology to upgrade your nervous system and brain health in 4 weeks using neuroscience, AI, and a combination of your own story, your own voice. If you want to experience this technology for free, it takes about 10 minutes. Go to aimerge.live, input some answers for 5 questions, and it'll help you experience what nervous system health delivered remotely can feel like.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, listen, if you are into any aspect of AI, you need to connect with Manuj. He's just an incredible human being. And if you ever want to know his story, wow, it is a powerful one. You got to go back to coaching call. We had an incredible call, and I'm probably going to bring you back. We need to go round 2, brother. It's going to be fun. Thank you. Matt, you're up, my friend.
Thank you. This has been great. You know, I love people and I love connecting with others who are doing great things in the world, because the more we lift each other up, the more we lift ourselves up. And one of the things that I do, and I work with people who have dealt with trauma, but right now I'm focusing on people who have done all the work, right? You feel successful, you've taken the courses, but you still feel like there's something missing, and that missing piece is an interconnection to yourself, feeling at home within yourself. So I help people know who they are, know what they want, and know who to be to get it. I help people come home to themselves, to belong to themselves in a way that empowers them so that they can stop performing and start living with purpose. As I say, turn your pain into your purpose and your story into your glory, because everybody matters. And every situation, every circumstance is just a teacher. There are no mistakes. There's only learning lessons. And the clearer we are about who we are, the easier it is to bring that out into the world and make real change in the world, real transformation. You know, Michael Jackson say, take a look at yourself and make that change. I'm talking to the man in the mirror, right? So the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, the them in the mirror, do you really know who you are? I help people know who they are so that they can create the lives that they deserve.
Yeah. Tell us your website.
My website, Matt Cartwright Therapy. And my Instagram handle is A Matter of Practice, because I believe that everything is a matter of practice.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Make sure you connect with Matt as well. I'm Sifu Rafael. What can I say? I'm easy to find. It's sifurafael.com. God put into my heart and into my mind that I need to help as many people as I possibly can. Therefore, I have a communication school. I do all kinds of live events. I do have 10 podcasts. So all 4 of you need to make sure that you come on, and let's get some more action going. Everybody, thank you so much. Make sure somebody needs to listen to this episode today. Share it, everybody. Talk to you soon.